It is yet another beautiful Sunday morning, and I must say I'm glad to see all of us here today in our attempt to offer sacrifice, our worship to God. In as much as it is a beautiful day, we also understand that we are one way or the other grieving. We lost a brother, and I'm sure we are all asking questions. We are all trying to understand why things happen the way they do. Now, all that I want to say to all of us this morning is that let's keep the family of our brother Akomia in prayers, even as they go through this situation. If you've not been there before, you'll never understand. But like I tell anybody who I see grieving, you may not fully understand what somebody's going through when they are grieving, because you may not fully understand the role this person played in their lives. So let's keep praying for them. Let's keep them in our prayers. Let's keep comforting them because they need it. Now, this morning, I want to draw our attention to a very important topic. And whatever I'm about to say this morning is not going to be new to all of us. It's just that at this moment, at this point in our lives as people of God, as members of this congregation, we need it. We need it. And so, if God were to be seated right here this morning, what one question would you ask him? I'm sure we all have our own questions for God. But if he was seated right here, I know we know he's in our midst right now, but if he was seated right here in all his glory, on his throne, seated right here, and then he just asks us to ask him whatever questions that we desire, what one question would you ask God? Well, I have mine. I'm sure you do have yours too. Everybody has a question for God. Now, some of the questions will be concerning why he took our loved one. Some of us have lost our parents. Some of us have lost a very dear friend, a very close family member. So we're going to ask God, why? Why did he take this person from our family? Why did he take this friend away from me? We didn't see it coming. He didn't give us any signs, any warnings. So why did he do that? And I'm sure this congregation this morning is asking the same question. God, why? And in the case of our brother, we didn't know him to be sick. What we knew was that his wife was not feeling okay, and he was the one taking care of the wife with their kids. And then something happens. The whole situation changes. And then he passed away, and the wife is still living. So the question is, God, why do you do what you do? Like, why did you let that happen? So the questions will be concerning why some of us are going through all of these health situations. There are so many people who are going through health situations that they don't even talk about. There are others that we know. We have our sister, Agnes, who is now looking forward to receiving a kidney. All right? We have some of our brethren who cannot worship with us because they are going through some health situations. Now, we are here today not because we are all fit and well. Some of you are going through things that you don't want to talk about, but you have to be here to worship God, and that is why you are here. So if God was here right now, will you be asking him why he's letting you go through all of those health implications, irrespective of how well you worship him every day? Will you be asking God why he allows too much trouble in this life? Look at COVID-19 and how many people it took away. So much trouble, pain, agony. Things happen that we don't see coming, and they happen anyway. If God was here right now, will you be asking him why he allows those things to happen? Well, I'm sure most of you will do that. This morning, I'm very sure and aware that there are things in life that you desire to have. You need those things, but then you don't have them anyway. And so if God was supposed to be here right now, visibly we can see him, probably somebody will be asking, why God choose not to provide for us what we genuinely need sometimes? Well, our questions can go on and on. And I know that every one of us has their own question for God. If God was right here, seated here, visibly, and we can see him. Well, let me tell you this morning that if you think you have questions for God, you are not the only one. Everybody has one or two or three questions for God. Everybody has questions for God. So you're not the only person. Because there are things in life that somebody will say does not make any sense. Like it doesn't piece up. You try to wrap your mind around it, and it still does not piece up. We don't logically understand why certain things happen in this life. We don't. So you're not alone. You are not alone. But let me tell you a story. This story is about this Christian man, this man who decided to follow God, and not just him, it was himself, the wife, and the entire family were dedicated members of their church. He was a good man, by all standards. He was a good man. He did very good things. He supported the weak. He took care of the needy. He did all the good things that you can talk about as somebody who follows God would do. Now I'm talking about a man who was called Horatio Gate Spafford. And in our discussion this morning, I'll be calling him Mr. Spafford. All right? Now, Mr. Spafford was born in October 1828. And like I said, himself and his family were so much involved in church business. They were doing church work. They went to church. They invested their time, their energy, their resources in church business. And they lived in Chicago at that point in time. Now, the Lord blessed them with 5 beautiful, wonderful children, and God blessed them with a lot of money. They had a lot of wealth. In real estate, they have physical money. Their business was good. So, they were good people. Mr. Spafford became a lawyer, and he owned a lot of properties, He had just one son. But at a point, Mr. Spafford and their family lost that only son. Think about it. You have 5 children, and there are 4 girls, and there is just one boy, and then suddenly he becomes sick, and then you have to lose him. Mr. Spafford lost this young man. But then he would just take consolation in the fact that he has 4 other kids. So, God gives, God takes. In October 1871, Mr. Spafford lost a great deal of properties he owned to massive fire. He was there one day. He received a phone call that said, fire has taken away a lot of your properties. Well, Mr. Spafford was blessed with a lot of wealth, so he would say, well, God gives, God takes. He and his family, at that point when he had lost a lot of properties, they demonstrated love to other people because of the love they had for Christ. They were going through too much. They were going through a lot of things. They had lost a great deal of money, wealth. but then they used that as an opportunity to demonstrate their love for God, their love for Christ. They shared what they had with the families that were affected by the situation. Now, he at a point he said, I've been living in the United States for a very long time. I want to move my family to England. In 1873, he decided to move his family to England. His wife and their 4 daughters, Annie was 12 years old, Maggie was 7, Bessie was 4, and their 18-month-old Tanetta. He decided to move them to England, but then he had some responsibilities to manage here in Chicago, so he was like, okay, just take the kids and I would join you later on. So his wife and their 4 kids traveled to England. On November 22, 1873, whilst his family were crossing the Atlantic Ocean on a steaming ship, they crashed into a sailing ship, all right? So as they journeyed, there was a wreck, there was a crash on the Atlantic Ocean. Now, history says that about 226 people died in that crash. They lost their lives, including the 4 daughters. Not 1, not 2, not 3. All the 4 daughters of this man lost their lives. He lost them all. His wife, Anna, however, survived. And then when they, took them to a place, he had a chance to email or whatever, technology they were using at the time. He sent a message to the husband. And this was what he said in the message. Saved alone, what shall I do? This is what he said to the husband. We lost our 4 daughters in the wreck. I'm the only one left. What shall I do? If you think you're going through something, think about Mrs. Spafford. If you think your situation is bad, think about this man. Now, upon receiving the news, Mrs. Spafford decided to reunite with his wife. Now, as they traveled on the ocean, and when they got to the point where the crash happened, where he lost his 4 daughters, the captain of the ship called the people to come around, and he told them, this is where the crash happened. And they say that Mrs. Spafford decided to write a poem. He decided to write a song as he watched where he lost his 4 daughters. We have a beautiful song we sing when we meet as a church, and that song is as a result of what Mr. Spafford went through. When peace like a river tended my way, when sorrows like seas billows, whatever my Lord thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul, it is well, it is well with my soul, with my soul, it is well, it is well as Mrs. Parford watched where his family passed away, he had no question for God. He didn't decide to lose his faith in God. His faith was rather strengthened. Amen? Amen. And this is what he said in his song. When peace like a river attends my way, when all the good things happen to me, when I receive all the good news, when I find myself in all the good situations, I know it is God who makes those things happen. However, when sorrow like seas billows roll, when I find myself in bad situations, when I get all the bad news, when all the bad things happen to my life, I know that is also coming from God. Whatever my lot, whatever problem I go through, whatever blessing I receive, whatever situation I find myself in, whatever news I get, good or bad, you, Lord, have taught me to say one thing. And you've taught me to say that it is well with my soul. Because indeed it is well with our soul. Now, the second stanza of this song says this. Though Satan should buffet me, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ has regarded my helpless estate and has shed his own blood for my soul. Satan might try and do whatever he wants to do to me. I might face trials and temptations, and situations I might face might not be the ones that I desire. Not all the things that I expect will come my way. Sometimes it's going to be really bad. Sometimes it's going to be really bad. The storm is going to hit hard. Tragedy is going to strike. But let this blessed assurance control that Jesus was the first one who suffered for doing no wrong, and he shed his blood for me. Now, if my master went through all of this pain, what I'm going through is nothing. And so it is well with my soul. This song was inspired by the challenges, the problems that Mrs. Parford went through. He lost his wealth. He lost his son. He lost his 4 daughters. But in all these, he said, God, you give me good times, but if you give me bad times, should I complain? No, I'm not going to complain. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse number 14, like the brother read for us, this is what a wise king said. When times are good, be happy. When everything is going on right in your life, enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not always going to be like that. When everything is okay, be happy. Be happy. All right? Be happy. Get up, clean up, find food to eat, go about your business, be happy. But when times are bad, this is what you need to consider. God has made the bad times as well as the good times. And God has made it in such a way that you cannot predict what is going to happen tomorrow. You're not going to know. You can never know what is going to happen tomorrow. Now, if we can know what is going to happen tomorrow, we would have known our brother Akumia was going to leave us. But we did not see it coming. We did not see it coming. The brother was here on the Sunday. Within the week, he was taken to the hospital, and he never came back home. He never came back home. God has designed the world in such a way that you cannot see what is going to happen tomorrow. And as we are seated here beautifully, brothers and sisters, we don't know what is going to happen the next minute, the next hour, tomorrow, the next week. So Mr. Spafford said, when peace like a river attends my way, When sorrow strikes me, you, Lord, whatever happens to me, there is one thing you have taught me to say, and God is teaching us to say the same thing this morning. Say to yourself, it is well with my soul. I like watching movies, and there is this movie, I'm sure some of you have watched it before, the young ones. It's called The Three Idiots. I don't know. It's an Indian movie, The Three Idiots. So this guy was a smart guy, and his friends were not so smart. And then his friends were trying all means to be like the smart guy. And some of them were worshiping the gods from their hometowns, trying to, do some rituals. Some of them had rings on so that they can be able to pass through the exams and all that. This guy was naturally smart, and he called them and said, listen, well, I can do what I do because I am me. I do what I do. This is how I am. But I see you wear all these rings thinking that this is going to help you pass your exam. Listen, when you feel troubled, when things are not going your way, just touch your heart and say, all is well, all is well, all is well. And you're going to feel okay. That's what he told his friends. And the friends applied it, and it worked for them one way or the other. He said that our hearts can be tricked to feel that although things are not okay, we are still going to be okay. So they should just touch their heart and say, all is well, all is well, all is well. And the friends applied it, and it worked. I'm saying this to tell you that our body needs us to speak to it. Our soul needs us to speak to it. Mr. Spafford is saying that things can be great sometimes, and things can be bad sometimes. But whatever happens to us, whatever comes our way, God has taught us to say that it is well with our soul. And I want us to learn the same principle. We are never going to know what is going to happen tomorrow. There are days that we are going to be smiling and all happy. There are days that we are going to cry and weep. But just know that the God that made the good days is the same God that made the bad days. And it's made in such a way that we can never know what is going to happen to us tomorrow. We only can appreciate who God is and why he does the things he do. You may have a question for God. But let me read to you what Mrs. Spafford said, Anna Spafford. He said something really interesting. It is easy to be grateful and good when you have so much. It is easy to be grateful, to be good when everything is happening the way you want them to happen. It is easy for you to come to church when everything is happening the way you want them to happen. It is easy for you to smile, to look up, to go about your business if everything is happening the way you want them to happen. It is easy, very easy. But take care that you are not a fair weather friend to God. Take care that you are not a fair weather friend to God. You don't only come to God when you think everything is okay with you. You don't only have to do good things, worship God, acknowledge God when everything is working the way you want them to happen. This morning I want you to know that it is well with our souls. Everything happens for a good reason. We serve a living God, and he knows why he allows certain things to happen in our lives. So whatever situation you find yourself in this morning, whether it's a loved one that you lost, whether it's some health implications that you find yourself in, whether it's some situation that you don't expect but you still have to face it, whatever situation you find yourself in, let us tell ourselves that God is in control. God is still in charge, and he is our Father, and he will never allow anything beyond our abilities to happen to us, not even a single day. And he is going to be with us every step of the way. And whatever we are going through, God sees it. He knows it. He knows it. He knows our pain, our grief, and all that. But God also knows that whatever is happening to us are things that he allowed, and he knows why he allowed them. God is in charge, and it is well with our souls. We need to just trust God. Let us trust him and allow him to be God. Let us trust him and allow him to lead the way. And whatever happens to us, when peace like a river attends our way, when sorrows like seas billows roll, whatever lot God has taught us to say, it is well with our souls. May God comfort us all. Amen.
Our God is an awesome God. And we know that he's awesome.